In today's journey, Phil takes a whack at upgrading our BrewPi remix to the Fermentrack system. We are assuming that you already have a BrewPi remix system already up and running, but the first thing we will need to do is actually reinstall the operating system, as this program does not play nice with others. We are also going to use this opportunity to upgrade to the Raspberry Pi 4 along with the operating system Buster, which is required to run the board. So far, a lot of our tests with the Raspberry Pi 4 has shown that it is indeed a lot faster than the Raspberry Pi 3 and the 3 Plus, but it doesn't play as nice with a lot of the other programs we've been using, such as BrewPi Legacy, and the fact that Buster isn't compatible with Docker yet has been causing a lot of problems with other programs. It is important to remember that the Raspberry Pi 3 was long into its lifespan, so it had a ton of support. The Raspberry Pi 4 may be having problems right now, but it should get a lot better once developers have a chance to update their applications to reflect the new requirements and to leverage the full speed. How much faster is it? Well, we just installed the entire operating system without manipulating time whatsoever. We will, however, fast forward through the updating and setup process. Which, yes, you should always run the update even if it's a brand new operating system, just in case. That gives you the best security and drivers for running support. And if some of you are saying, hey, but I don't know how to set up a Raspbian installer, check out this link here and in the description below on how to set up a Raspbian installer SD card. And if you're still super confused, check out this video that we made about how to set up a BrewPi Legacy system. For testing purposes though, we will be keeping our Raspberry Pi 3 running our BrewPi remix for our mission critical operations, at least until we get a chance to test Fermentrack in the field officially. If it feels like the system's crashed and stalled out, don't worry, it's probably just encountered an error like this one. This is just happening to us right now because it's so new, but may not come up for you when you're updating it in the future. This error message has probably more to do with the fact that the Raspberry Pi 4 and Buster have only come out mere weeks ago. It's easy to forget that a lot of what happens for these systems happens by a lot of different programmers from around the world. Give them a minute. Phil's suggestion with errors is ignore them until they cause a problem. Now that that's done, restart the computer. Which should take a surprisingly short amount of time given that it now has DDR4 memory, meaning that things load in and out a lot faster. For comparison against the old models again, we have not done any speed manipulation for this footage. Hopefully the Raspberry 5 will include solid state storage so that will be even shorter of a time. What's really cool about this system is that it requires very minimal nerdisms to get it set up. We just need to go to Fermentrack.com to get one line of code that's going to take care of almost everything for us today. This part will take a bit of time, so we will fast forward through some of the boring parts. Once the page loads up, we just need to get this one line of code, copy and paste it into the terminal, that little DOS-like thing, paste it, hit enter, and it should take care of everything for you. For those not familiar with DOS, thank you for making me feel old. It is the fourth icon from the upper left corner of the screen. Right-click anywhere in that window, hit paste, then enter, and it will take care of it for you. That's all you need to know in terminal. This will be downloading everything off of the internet for you, so you do need an internet connection, and it may look like it stalls out from time to time, but it just depends on how good your internet connection is. Give it a minute. It could take up to an hour at times though. Just let it run. If things do go wrong, it will give you an error message. However, we are yet to receive one. If you're wondering why ours is going so fast, it's because we're using the time manipulation again to get you on your way. The last thing we need to do in the terminal is to make note of the IP address. As you can see here, Phil is trying his hardest to select it, but for some reason his mouse is not registering clicks. Hold on a minute until he realizes he needs to replace the battery. But once you're able to select the IP address, you can copy and paste that into the web browser's URL bar or into any other computer's URL bar that's on the same network, and you can access the Raspberry Pi that way. The first thing you need to do is create a username. This is mostly a formality, but it can be handy if you have problems with security in the future. Or you have fellow brew friends that can't leave their hands off your equipment. Up next, we have a chance to change any settings that are commonly changed in other programs. Very handy if you want to switch over to Celsius or Fahrenheit, we don't judge, and then set your time zone. Unless you're a bleeding edge junkie when it comes to technology, I recommend turning off the beta only releases. Also, to always use the guided setup for the adding devices. We will be using the same Arduinos that we used on our last setup, so we get to go with yes already flashed. That's why today is an upgrade instead of an actual setup. Stick around after the credits and we'll show you how to do the flashing through this program. Alright, this is where things get a little weird. Unplug the device that you want to actually set up today before hitting scan devices. Once you get to this screen, you do plug it in and you hit scan for new devices. If you screwed up, there is a retry button down towards the bottom that's colored red. It's actually kind of neat because now it only shows the new items that have come through. Really handy if you have a lot of already plugged in and existing devices. Click Setup on the device you want to set up and give it a name. Even though this is a device that we've run on a different system, we do have to give it a new name that this program recognizes it as. We're going to also change the data point interval to 10 seconds because then we get more real-time updates. And if your user interface feels cramped, remember it is a responsive website, so stretch it across and you get more room. Here you can see the dashboard where if we had multiple devices, they'd all be showing up together. Give our script a second for it to boot up and we can go in and start making changes. As you can see, we already have a beer and fridge temperature probe set up because we didn't flash the controller and it imported all the sensor and hardware details from before. Do keep in mind that it won't start data logging until you actually define a beer for it to keep track of. We will be using a simple test graph at this point. And again, it won't update the graph until it has a first data point and then you refresh the page. The last thing we need to do to complete this upgrade is to click Change Mode on the gray tile. And this is where we can select the fridge constant, beer constant, or use a beer profile that we've created at a later time. That's all the time we have for today, but check in next time when we'll do a deeper dive on this system and find out all the quirks and benefits of using this versus the other systems. But for those that needed to stay after class to learn how to do the firmware flashing on your boards, here's that section. It's a little weird, but click No, Need to Flash, click on the Beginner's Guide. You will then again need to select the board, and then also make sure that the last time it's checked for available firmware is somewhat recent. Click Submit, select the board again for some reason, hit Submit again, and then wait a moment as it takes a moment for this part to load up. It should be noted that at this point, flashing your firmware is irreversible, which is why they're giving you a big warning right here. This is unfortunately one of those necessary evils. Do make sure that the device you plan to flash is not plugged in before clicking Scan Devices. Now that you're on this page, is when you plug it in. Don't worry, that red button at the bottom works as a rescan button. So now that it is plugged in at the right time, click the Scan button again, and it should go to the next page. If you don't see your item on the list, go back and try again. When you are ready, click the green button to move on to the next phase. This is another one of the steps that can take a little bit of time before the next page loads up. On this page, we're going to decide which firmware we want to flash to the board. You probably want to go with BrewPi Remix, though there are other options if you're familiar with those. Though do not click on the one at the very bottom, as that is for advanced users only. Click on the Flash to Device button, and then it will bring up this page, which can be a little confusing at first as it says Flash Request Queued. It's something that's happening in the background. So if you click on that link, you can see the current status of the flashing, and this is happening isolated on the board you selected. So feel free to do whatever else you need to get done during this time, but it will not update in real time. You will have to click F5 or refresh the page to see when it is actually completed. Now that your board is flashed, you can go back to the guided setup for devices. And when it asks you the question if your board is flashed already, you get to say yes and continue back on the normal part of the video.